Before this video starts, I'd just like to make an announcement. I have the Liberal Tears mug for $14.99 on my website. It is the first link in the description if you want to go pick one up. Don't worry if it breaks when it comes to your house. I'll send you another one for free out of my pocket. I don't care. I want you to get your Liberal Tear mug. It comes in Liberal Tears white with the face, black with the face, white without the face, and black without the face. So pick whichever one you want, and it'll come to your door in about 3 to 5 days. So that should be epic. First link in the description. Thank you. Let's go on with the video.
If they're brief, sure. I mean, they're big lines.
So my biggest disagreement with you is that when you talk about institutional racism, I know you pointed out that there are individual instances of racism.
Yes.
But I definitely do believe that there is institutional racism. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at what the FBI released in 2006, where they said that white supremacists were invading the police departments, or when James Comey essentially said that there is a history of minorities being targeted by the police, and he says our history with minorities is not pretty. And then you also look at Supreme Court rulings where they say that certain governments, state governments in the United States are literally, with surgical precision, trying to limit the African-American and minority vote. It begs the question, like, how can you say there's no institutional racism when these institutions themselves are confessing that we're doing these things? And yes, they're being checked at times, but these things are happening. So
there are a couple separate questions there because there's specific data points that you're mentioning there. You know, the 2006 FBI report, and then you're mentioning also the Supreme Court decisions on the Voting Rights Act and the rewriting of the Voting Rights Act. So as far as the Voting Rights Act goes, there is not a lot of evidence to suggest that black votes are being undercounted in southern states. It's just the evidence is very scanty there. Justice Scalia's, I think he wrote dissent in that case. Actually, it would have been the majority opinion in that case because they struck down the VRA. Is pretty telling and has a lot of countervailing data on that, so it's worth reading. As far as the idea of institutional racism, so here's my general view about institutional racism. When I say that there are individuals inside, I'm not saying individuals don't exist inside departments. I'm sure that there are some cops who are racist. Yeah. The question is, how do we fight? How do we fight racism? When we say institutional racism, the problem is there's no way for me to fight that with you because it's too vague. Yeah. So if you say a particular institution is racist and then demonstrate to me the evidence that the institution is racist, not that it's badly policed, not that it's incompetent, because there are police departments that are incompetent, but that there's actual motivated racism there, then we can do something about it and I'll stand right alongside you. But my problem is that when people say institutional racism, it seems to me a broad rubric under which they can subsume all complaints about American society or the cops. So you'll have situations where a black guy gets shot by the cops, and the first reaction is not, was the cop incompetent? It was the cop had to be racist because there's a white cop and a black guy. Right? And so what you've seen is the DOJ in some cases, like for example, Seattle Police Department, they'll say that there's institutional bias there, but then they'll provide no actual evidence of institutional bias. They'll just say a disproportionate number of black people were imprisoned or arrested by the police department. Well, is it possible that a disproportionate number of black people were criminals in Seattle? Sure. I mean, that's actually what they found in 1994. They thought that there was institutional racism at the Highway Patrol in New Jersey. There's a federal case about it. And what they ended up finding, they did a study that they then tried to quash. And what the study found is that they were actually under-profiling black people, that there were just more black people speeding in New Jersey. So the point that I guess I'm making here is that I like when it's great that you're coming up and citing individual instances of data, and I want to look at each of those instances of data. I don't want to say that there's broad institutional racism in the United States because you have to name to me the exact institution, and you have to name to me how it's spread throughout that institution, and it isn't just individuals within that institution, and then we can change it. Okay, so that's an institution that has racism. That's not the same thing as arguing there's institutional racism in the United States as a general rule, because that suggests that America is generally racist, which is something with which I disagree.
So, yeah, I might agree with you that there are certain instances of America where it's not generally racist. But then in those cases where when we do discuss that racism in that institution, it's hard as a black person because you're then told that you cannot discuss this because you're calling out people. Like when they start talking about white supremacists in these organizations, not to say that all cops are white supremacists, but they are there. Like there are some that were invading, like you said.
Right, and if you find the cop who's a white supremacist, again, I'm willing to stand by you. The problem is when you make blanket statements like there are cops who are white supremacists. I'm willing to say there are, but the percentage matters here. I mean, are we talking about 70% or are we talking about like one guy? Right, so that I think is the big debate here, and so that's why whenever I have these conversations, I try to narrow it down to what's the most specific thing we can talk about that we can solve together. Because I promise you, I will go out there with you and protest against a racist shooting, like when Walter Scott was shot in South Carolina. I'm on your side, right? I'm on the side of the person who was shot because that was a terrible shoot. Everybody saw that was a terrible shoot. But when people say that what happened in Ferguson, Missouri with Michael Brown, when they say that it was hands up, don't shoot, that's white racism, there's no evidence of that whatsoever, and that was actually an attempt to get a cop on the basis of really bad evidence. Okay. So I think that it's incumbent on us to actually show our work. Okay. Instead of just saying institutional racism, let's go out and protest, let's find the specific instance, and then we can solve it. Then we can solve the problem together.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah, sure.
So essentially, yeah, because just to add on to that, like, so I do agree, but then oftentimes when we start protesting, when we start dealing with these things, there is this general fear that there is this conversation where it's already looked at as and we're delegitimized because they say, okay, African Americans are just going crazy, black people are just going crazy, and all these things. And it's hard to have dialogue.
I mean, if that happens, that's wrong. Yeah. I think that it depends on the nature of the protest. So my problem with the Black Lives Matter movement, as a general matter, to take an example, is that when you say things like Black Lives Matter, the implication is not the one that, like, other lives don't matter so much as it is the suggestion that there are a bunch of people, a broad swath of people in America who don't care about black lives. That's the implication, and I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. I think that we all care about black lives, and I think that if the question were, what should we do about this particular shooting, that's one thing. But if the idea is that cops are shooting black people because black people are black people, I don't see any statistical evidence of a trend of that. So that's the problem with BLM. BLM tries to draw a trend from an anecdote. You want to protest the anecdote, I'll protest the anecdote with you. You want to protest the trend, you first have to identify to me statistically the trend exists.
Okay. So,
great. Well, sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but I appreciate it.
Okay. So yeah, I'll just finish off with this. So yeah, so I agree with, okay, so on the Black Lives Matter trend, yes, we do need to look at cases individually, and yes, we do need to, because sometimes there is this effect where you want to call racist immediately racism, and I agree with you, that's wrong. But I'm just saying that I feel like sometimes it becomes counterproductive when constantly, when people are trying to defend these things, and people are trying to fight these things, and automatically the conversation is shaped in such a way that we're these far right extremists, or then we're far out left extremists trying to.
Right, and I think that the biggest problem when it comes to language, and I'll finish with this, I'm sorry, but yeah. I think that the biggest problem there is, as you notice, I keep trying to peg down as exactly as we can the instances that we're talking about and the language that we're referring to. And I think that movements have a hard time pegging that down. And you see that from movements all over the country. But when you make a claim as broad as American society doesn't care about the lives of black people, Black Lives Matter, a lot of people are going to get pissed at that, and I think they have a right to be pissed at that.
Okay. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah, go fuck you, you racist piece of shit, you fucking redneck.
Do you want to walk out? Come on. Be peaceful. Go in peace.
You fucking white trash!
Be peaceful. Peaceful.
Yo, get the fuck up!
Come here.
No,
They just spit on her. Go Trump. For KKK, no justice, USA. For Trump. No KKK, no justice, USA.
So am I, but the Native Americans are the question. This is why. Hold on.
Why are you carrying a gun?
Because I'm a fucking American.
Yeah, I have the right. Don't touch him, man.
I have the right.
You touch him, you're down.
This is my Second Amendment right. This is my Second Amendment right.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you an American?
And that's why we can't fucking advertise this shit. Yo, you know exactly what the fuck advertising is. I'm letting you know that I don't care about your fucking rhetoric. So
I'm still voting for Donald Trump.
I don't really care who you vote for.
I'm still voting for Donald Trump, buddy.
No, I can agitate because he's fucking agitating. So
still
what?
voting for Donald
So what?
Trump.
I can agitate because I don't care about going to jail. I know, yeah.
You're upset.
You're an idiot because you support Donald Trump. Well, I thought that you're with him.
You're an idiot for calling me an idiot.
Dick sucking ass motherfucker. That's why you don't do shit. Swing at me, homie. Swing at me. Swing at me, homie. You ain't gonna do fucking shit. I've said you ain't gonna do shit.
Agitator! You're in the protest area.
These are the people who dislike Donald Trump. Look how they act. They're
sure about that?
Black people that he asked his security guards to kick out of the rally.
Oh, and Valdosta State?
Yeah.
Talking about, oh, they were protesting against him.
Yeah, and what is that?
You cannot protest in a rally. Then why would you do that?
Why? It's freedom of speech.
We don't go to your rally. We don't go to your rally. He does the same thing to white people too, so I don't understand. He does the exact same thing to white people too, so.
And that makes it okay.
I mean, if you're gonna protest against us, yeah.
Well, yeah, don't let Trump supporters like freely protest.
Okay.
You should go get educated on what's important.
I'm very educated, ma'am. I'm very educated.
You all right?
You got a bottle of water? If you guys, hang on a second. If you guys want, I'm listening. Very funny.
We fought against race.
Really? Watch out, Edge. No, fuck that. Yeah, get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. Fuck Trump. 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 Sell out.
Nigga, you motherfuckers get drafted, nigga. You gonna get drafted, nigga? Or you gonna run your ass like
Show your faces. Hide behind masks. Sell out. Show your faces. Sell out. Here's a real
What's up?
Sell out, brother.
I'm a 17-year-old girl. You're a bitch. You're a bitch. Bitch. Do something, bitch.
What you guys stand for? This is peaceful protest. They're lovely. I got pushed.
You're a bitch.
I got pushed. Actually, you guys are again.
Bitch.
Would you die for a right to speak like this? Would you die for a right to speak like this? I actually fought for your right to speak like this.
We don't have any rights.
You have the right to stand here and do this, don't you? And so do I. And so do I. Fuck you. Fuck
¡Es por la raza! ¡Es por la raza, puto! ¡Viva la raza, güey! ¡Fuck capitalism! ¡Fuck capitalism! Yeah! ¡Fuck you!
Police protection on San Carlos Street, a mob mentality took over. A Trump supporter wearing a Build the Wall t-shirt was assaulted by several young men. Fearing for his safety, I yelled at him to get away. For several minutes, there was no police protection.
I was assaulted by several times with while inside the anti-Trump protest, trying to get out to the street to get picked up by my parents.
Let's do it. I feel like I'm gonna get plugged. No, that's cool, man. Free speech has had to go. Hey, hey, ho ho. He gets free speech. It's got to go. Hey, hey, ho ho. Fuck enlightenment. It's got to go. Hey, hey. I don't have a big dick. I don't have a big dick. I can't suck myself. Milo can suck his own dick.
Get the fuck out of here.
Well, I'm not gonna leave, dude. No, no. Why should I leave?
Motherfucker, get the fuck
Hey, don't touch my stuff, man.
Fuck.
Hello, everyone. Hey, I'm just stopping by to remind you that liberals are insane. Social justice warriors are becoming more violent and triggered than ever before. Anyways, be sure to subscribe to KGP TV on YouTube and have a blessed day. Yeah, man.
Are literally with surgical precision trying to limit the African American and minority vote. It begs the question, like, how can you say there's no institutional racism when these institutions themselves are confessing that we're doing these things? And yes, they're being checked at times, but these things are happening. So
okay, so there are a couple separate questions there because there's specific data points that you're mentioning there. You know, the 2006 FBI report, and then you're mentioning also the Supreme Court.
Before this video starts, I'd just like to make an announcement. I have the Liberal Tears mug for $14.99 on my website. It is the first link in the description if you want to go pick one up. Don't worry if it breaks when it comes to your house. I'll send you another one for free out of my pocket. I don't care. I want you to get your Liberal Tear mug. It comes in Liberal Tears white with the face, black with the face, white without the face, and black without the face. So pick whichever one you want, and it'll come to your door in about 3 to 5 days. So that should be epic. First link in the description. Thank you. Let's go on with the video.
If they're brief, sure. I mean, they're big lines.
So my biggest disagreement with you is that when you talk about institutional racism, I know you pointed out that there are individual instances of racism.
Decisions on the Voting Rights Act and the rewriting of the Voting Rights Act. So as far as the Voting Rights Act goes, there is not a lot of evidence to suggest that black votes are being undercounted in southern states. It's just the evidence is very scanty there. Justice Scalia's, I think he wrote dissent in that case. Actually, it would have been the majority opinion in that case because they struck down the VRA. Is pretty yes.
But I definitely do believe that there is institutional racism. And the reason why I say that is because when you look at what the FBI released in 2006, where they said that white supremacists were invading the police departments, or when James Comey essentially said that there is a history of minorities being targeted by the police, and he says our history with minorities is not pretty. And then you also look at Supreme Court rulings where they say that certain governments, state governments in the United States